We're back at the Hybrid Cloud Partners podcast. I'm Fede Pacheco alongside my teammate and friend, Adam Burke. How you doing, Adam?
Hey, good. Yeah, good to be back, Fede. Good to see you here.
Yeah, it's been a minute, but we're back stronger than ever. We're now expanding regions. For the next few episodes, you will see we're going to be interviewing and sharing the partner stories across the globe, quite literally, starting today. What do we have today, Adam?
Yeah, I think in some ways we're starting with the farthest geography first, which is awesome. So we have a couple folks from Australia here on the line who actually are in tomorrow for us, which is always fun. So thank you to them for their flexibility and the time recording. Yeah, super excited for the conversation.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
So I guess first by introduction, so Elliot, Jurd, I'm the General Manager Cloud at Nexon. Justin actually brought me into the business 4.5 years ago. And between us, we actually run the cloud, data and AI, end-to-end managed services and service desk and the M365 businesses for Nexon. And we've expanded pretty massively over the last 4.5 years, which has been really exciting. Justin?
Yeah, so Justin Bailey, I'm the General Manager of Nexon Cloud. So we started that cloud platform 15 plus years ago with Microsoft in partnership. We actually worked quite a bit with standing up what was essentially pre-Office 365. So we did, hosted email. And we actually did Skype for Business with voice, which was quite an interesting process. And we actually ramped that up quite significantly during that period and has been a foundation of Nexon since. So we're a Teams voice partner right now, for example. So that's been quite a journey in itself. And then obviously Azure landed in Australia and became a Microsoft partner further and further as we have, and Dynamics 365, etc. So yeah, I've been at Nexon for 25 years, basically since the start of
Justin was
Nexon.
Actually the third employee of Nexon, and we now have 700. Number 3, and we now have over 700 staff. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. The first 2 were the owners, so that's fine.
So your badge number is 0003?
Yeah, exactly.
We don't have badge numbers, unfortunately. We don't have a system like that, unfortunately, but that's all right.
That's awesome, Justin. You've been there that long. That is quite a tenure. Before we jump into kind of Nexon and, the kind of the journey here that you all have been on and where you're headed, one of the questions we're starting to ask our guests is just kind of learning a little bit more about AI in terms of like how you've integrated that into your personal or professional lives. So would love to hear and hopefully learn kind of from you all in terms of how you're best leveraging it.
Yeah. Why don't I kick it off, Justin? So Justin and I have actually challenged each other to use AI as much as we can, both in our business and our personal lives. And one of the things that I've been doing over the last couple of weeks is trying to get a bit fitter, trying to get a bit more healthy. And so I actually had ChatGPT write me. I'm an avid golfer, and I've been trying to hit the ball further. And so what I did, was I got ChatGPT to give me a customized fitness and a diet plan. And then I went through a whole bunch of iterations of that. And now I actually have my own project on ChatGPT that I run through every day and ask it questions around, what food I need to eat, what the exercise I need to take today, and the speed training I need to do for my golf. And in fact, my wife's now involved in it. And she's like, can you give me the shopping list for your diet plan? And so literally I just asked ChatGPT my project, hey, what's my shopping list? And it spits out the shopping list, and she's actually going shopping today with the list that comes from the diet plan, which is pretty cool.
That's pretty comprehensive. And do you use the schedule task function to get like a daily nudge, or how, are you using that?
I'm not using the schedule task function, but it's a good point that I probably should do that. But I certainly ask most days just to confirm what I need to do for the day. But I got it to give me a schedule where, certain days I'm doing certain things.
That's awesome.
That is very cool.
That's cool. And
how are you beating him, Justin, in this competition?
Yeah, Justin.
To say that AI is pervasive in our lives now, I think is an understatement for myself. Like just simple searching now, I don't use the traditional search engines anymore. I'm using AI to do my search functions. anything that we have to produce from a documentation point of view, it's AI first. And I think it's the simple thing around, it's very hard to start a document from scratch. So I'm not saying AI is perfect and, just give you the end result and you just, hey, write me this and then tick and flick it and that sort of thing. But it really gives you a great starting point. From a personal point of view, I'm really trying to integrate it, especially into my, financial and health as well to a certain extent, life. So I have this ambition to essentially have it like an AI agent across my financial data, personal investments, et cetera, like that. And then, be able to ask it questions. And then when my accountant asks me a question, type it into the agent, say, hey, can you give me this information? Draft me the email, send it off, get your tax returns in, get your, all your compliance done, all those sort of things. Try to make it as streamlined as possible. And I think that's what it's really about for me is how do I do more? Like you have these ambitions to achieve things in life and it's just another tool that you've got to use to accelerate the outcomes.
We've both been challenging each other to use, AI in as many ways as we can, both personally and professionally.
Well, that's awesome. Sure. That's awesome. I was going to joke that if you have a virtual background, like have you gotten your agent to also do podcast interviews for you, Justin?
Not yet.
Yeah. I did actually ask it to help me prep. So I actually said, pull out the sort of language that we use on our website, all that sort of stuff. So branding, alignment is really important, I think, in today's marketing terms. But I'm not a great podcaster or a marketing person. So we'll see how it helps.
You're doing great. Well, don't worry, Justin. You're a great podcaster, and we'll start with an easy question. I'm sure you rehearsed already, but we just want to know, share a little bit about what you do at Nexon, but anything else you want to add on your mission and what makes you so passionate to work for a company like Nexon?
Yeah, I think for me, myself personally, around what drives me at Nexon is, I guess that we keep on adapting to change and helping customers move forward with the technology platforms. And drive innovation. So our goal is to be, a leading digital advisory partner to our customers and push them forward around how they're using those digital platforms in their business. And like I said, we've been working with customers to transition platforms, technology stacks, the applications they use, and really adapt to the changes in the industry. So cybersecurity is a massive one for us, especially in the last sort of 5 years. We've invested heavily around a security operations center and providing SIEM platforms. And we do partner with Microsoft around Sentinel, around from a SIEM platform point of view. We used to do traditional security back in the day, we're a WAN carrier provider and firewalls, et cetera. And that's evolved. And to that sort of story, helping customers evolve and adjust and adapt technology.
I'd probably add to that too, Justin, that our customer base being specifically in the mid-sized enterprise, a lot of customers don't actually have enough skill inside of their business to be able to take on that change, because technology change is massive and continues to be massive. And being able to, keep and retain staff that are able to do those sort of things in businesses are quite hard. And so we take it very seriously to have a long-term mutually beneficial partnership with our customers to help them transition or transform at their capacity to transform. Because a lot of time businesses aren't able to do it themselves.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And it was most probably 10 plus years ago, we were saying as a managed service provider to our customers, their ability to have all the different types of skills internally for the market that we address is almost impossible, if not impossible. And now that's changed even more, right? So that security landscape that I talked about, much more difficult to manage and negate. And then around application modernization, as people adopt their in-house applications and the in-house development, these modern application platforms and the integration and API integration between all your different SaaS providers, and then you got data warehouse and you want to overlay AI to that. Mid-market to small enterprise just cannot have the resources internally to deal with that landscape. You just can't. It's really hard to deliver.
Yeah, for sure. I think we see our partners really help meet that need of those mid-market and kind of small enterprise customers, and even large enterprise customers, honestly, all the time, because that deep expertise is a huge challenge. What would you say you typically maybe start from a customer journey standpoint and kind of their primary needs, and then how do you see you kind of scale that relationship over time? How do you kind of see that journey with your customers look?
We try to meet the customer where they are. So there's a lot of the customers come to us because we are predominantly a managed services provider, and they're looking for a partner to be on a long-term journey with them around taking what they have already today, whether they're challenged with an existing managed service provider or they're challenged with trying to do it in-house and they just can't keep up anymore, like we talked about. We'll take that on board, and then we try to have the ongoing transformation advisory piece within that managed services to, again, guide them on the right path and change their platforms over time. But then we also have an advisory-led approach where a customer might be happy with how they're doing their day-to-day operations, but they want to enhance an application and drive that forward within their business, and we'll help them specifically on that project. And then we might deal with them more ongoing around the managed services piece. I think Nexon Accelerate's an interesting point around how we help customers from an application development, and that's one of Elliot's babies. So I'll give Elliot the opportunity to talk about that one. But I think that's a great how we actually help customers transform some of their applications, et cetera.
Yeah, I think I really agree with Justin's point around meeting a customer where they're at. What we see in the competitive landscape is a lot of our competitors go with a one-size-fits-all approach, and you have to meet this need. But I think in terms of the technology adoption curve, and customers who are behind the curve, they're not going to be able to take on, some, agile transformation projects immediately, right? They're actually, potentially need to do a bunch of foundation work first, right? And so we try to meet a customer where they're at. Nexon Accelerate's a great point, Justin. We deliver basically platform and product as a service for customers. So for those customers that are looking to be able to develop new features or products quickly, we're able to deliver that in an agile approach. But again, that's for customers at that front end of the adoption curve. They're actually looking to drive technological change in their businesses, using, agile methodology with a bunch of software developers, and we can provide that for them. But there are customers that are still trying to, are on-prem and looking to figure out how they get to cloud, and we'll absolutely help those too.
I think you've teed up a little bit of what we wanted to ask you next, but I also did a little bit of research on your website, and I really enjoyed some of the messaging. I'm the marketing guy here on the Microsoft side, so I really enjoyed, your look to the future tagline. Especially
Louise will love to hear that, our head of marketing.
Please let them know. But in reality, yeah, like not only are you helping your customers look to the future, but you yourselves, like you took that big leap of believing in the cloud and moving your customers to the cloud. I really loved when I double clicked on it and I saw in bold, "We care." And it said, "We'll fervently," I love the word, by the way, "we'll fervently do whatever it takes to get your problem fixed, your capability expanded, your roadmap documented, delivered, and it ends with your stress reduced." So it's beyond the technology. When someone's like, "Oh man, like I see this AI thing coming up, or I saw that cloud thing come up and I'm still hesitant." Well, beyond the technology, beyond any financial or technological decision we take, like you're there to provide that sense of like, "I got your back," which is, the mission that you've stated, but also I want to talk about your own decision, your own first step into leading your customers there. So can you tell us a bit more about, that decision of moving your customers and out of your data centers into the cloud?
Let me cover off the we care piece, because I think that's really important, and then I'll let Justin talk about the moving to cloud piece. But fundamentally, Nexon is a services business, right? We are not an intellectual property provider. We're delivering services to our customer, whether it be digital transformation, managed services. And so what is our differentiator? What is our value proposition? It is actually the service delivery that we give to our customers. And so, we actually do care because it matters to our business, but it matters to our customers. And it is actually a difference maker in our business, right? We genuinely do care. One of the things when I came into the business 4.5 years ago we had a customer problem, and I called a bunch of people, and we got on a call, and there's 12 people from 12 different business units in the business sorting out a problem for the customer. Right? People dive in and actually care and try to figure out how we can help our customers. And that's why we have a lot of long-term relationships with our customers. And it is really important to us. And it is actually a unique point of difference to our business.
Yep, totally agree. And just to expand on that point, we actually, in that sales process, when you're pitching to the customer, to a new customer to bring them on board, we've actually had some of them go, like, either you guys are full of it or you're actually going to provide an amazing service. And, we back ourselves all the time, and we've got customers that have been with us for the 25 years. And, that's part of our 25-year story that we're working on as we come up to that 25-year anniversary for Nexon. And they've been with us the whole time. And there's a lot of stories about how we have actually helped them, navigate and transform through those 25-year period. And we're very proud of that. It's a huge thing for us.
Yeah. And leaning into that change, right? Rather than, again, our competitors in the market will look to keep a customer on a particular thing right now. We're actually looking to help our customers always to move forward in partnership.
Yeah, I think that's a great segue to your question around, why now the move around what we're doing with our cloud platform to Azure. When we developed that platform, there was no public cloud offers or platforms in Australia that we developed, and we built our solution. We've got this history of investing in platforms and services to help our customers, deliver what they need, essentially. We started that platform to drive basic disaster recovery and backup solutions originally for our customers. So they had on-premise equipment, and there was a real mandate, in the late 2010s, I guess you want to call it. No, pre-2010, I should say. Our compliance thing was starting to get really big around disaster recovery and the need for disaster recovery. Really unfortunate events like 9/11, et cetera, sort of highlighted a lot of that that disruption around the globe. And so we built the platform to provide disaster recovery capabilities, and we had DR hot seats where customers could, if they had a problem in their office, they could actually come and work from our office, use those hot seats and connect to their data and platforms. That evolved over time, starting to deliver applications. Like I said before, there was an Office 365. We were delivering essentially Office 365 type services from our platform built on Microsoft back in the day. And then we've, over time, we decommissioned that many, many years ago and moved customers to Office 365. Like I said, for Sky for Business, we moved that to Microsoft Teams and Teams Voice. Do tens of thousands of end users on Teams Voice today. And really, the platform has existed to help customers in recent years as a stepping stone to cloud or application modernization or a SaaS platform for those applications. And essentially, it is a sunsetting technology when you look at it, right? It's hosting legacy, applications, and some of that stuff is virtual desktops, all that sort of stuff. And we really need to help customers move forward. So it really makes sense for us to stop doing that platform, both from a relevance to the market and also pushing customers forward, really, in terms of where they need to be. So it doesn't make sense to deliver virtual desktops the way we've been delivering them on that platform. It doesn't make sense to provide those legacy applications, right? We really need to help customers move to SaaS-based applications or, re-architecture, re-platform their legacy applications. And that's what we intend to do. And that's a big driver for us. And we need to be modern. We need to be secure. Security is another one that's come up around those sort of environments. When you've got that sort of legacy, the exposure to cyber incidents increases.
And then there's also that future-looking view, Justin. So being able to move on to Azure platforms and then start to leverage, a whole bunch of other things, right? So what we see from most of our customers is that we're helping them with the entire suite of Microsoft products in the cloud. So we hold all 6 solution partner designations and a whole bunch of advanced virtualization. So we help customers with their Dynamics. We help customers with Power Apps, Power Platform, M365. We're now helping a whole bunch of customers with Microsoft Fabric, and then starting to leverage Synapse and AI for those workloads. And so then also having the Azure component for any other workloads and aligning those things together is really powerful. And, we're starting to leverage Azure Innovate funding for a bunch of customers around data workloads. And obviously we're in advanced specialization for infrastructure and database migrations. So we're also able to get access to the AMM funding to help our customers with those transitions, which is really powerful as well.
Yeah, that's super exciting. And I really appreciate too the I guess the roadmap or kind of the look back you gave us in terms of the modernization, because I think it's helpful to think of sort of, this point in time as well, where you see these inflection points with cloud computing that have happened along the way, and now AI, where, essentially some of the things that happen from a cloud standpoint, everybody's kind of predicting are going to happen more as it comes to, kind of AI and some of those changes. And all of those, I think, all of those changes pose both opportunity and challenges, right? You kind of have to, tackle the challenges and then work through and maximize the opportunity. I think the point in time that we are kind of connecting on this in your data center migration journey is also, I think, really interesting for our audience, because, we're discussing it where, you guys already have a very mature Azure practice, but at the same time, that you're, kicking off that migration now and kind of in those planning phases is in, kind of execution here. What would you say, to kind of come this far have been kind of your biggest challenges as you've looked at kind of planning the migration, and how have you kind of worked to address some of those?
Great question, because there's a few of them. And one of them, I mean, a big one is actually, how do you do it in a time frame that makes sense to the business? So to be selfish from a financial point of view, we've got to manage back-end financial contracts, et cetera. And then you want to shift a large number of customers. And ideally, from an ideal financial point of view, you want to do that in a day, right? Like you literally want to line all your ducks up in a row, and then you want to do that cutover on that last day. And financially, you want to ramp up to use your consumption and shut off all your existing contracts on that same day. And that'd be magical, right? The reality is we must do that over a 2-month period. And then, so working with Microsoft, we're able to unlock, and we've got a great partnership. The partnership's been 20 plus years with Microsoft, to have the programs and support to help us negate some of that financial burden to help customers, because we don't want to have a negative customer experience, really, right? So how do you achieve those things on the back end for Nexon as a business, financially, achieve the right outcome for the customer from an experience point of view, is really important to us. So that is a challenge, right? That's you're juggling a lot of balls at that point in time to to try to line all that stuff up. That's really important for us. I feel like Elliot's got a point that he's.
Oh no. I was going to say it's worth calling out Anusha Alawalia, who's our partner development manager. She's been fantastic through the process, helping us with DCO, data center out, and making sure that we align those things as best we can. And she's been working with the stakeholders in our business to help that happen, which has been great. But yeah, as Justin said, trying to align things with legacy contracts with legacy providers. The elephant in the room, Broadcom, who has pretty publicly been in the market, is difficult with that stuff. But yeah, Microsoft's been fantastic helping us.
You mentioned a bit ago, your leverage of Azure Innovate and AMM, solution designation specializations, but you also mentioned the DCO program, the data center optimization program, and the team and the support that you've gotten. So since you mentioned the former a little bit, could you elaborate a bit more on the latter and what the DCO program has meant for Nexon?
Yeah, sure. So literally, we had, Justin and I had to have meetings with our CFO, our Chief Financial Officer, to directly go through the impact to our P&L on, aligning these things, right? And there are a bunch of hard costs associated with the private cloud that we're exiting. And so we needed to make sure that those costs come off as the Azure costs come on. And so one of the things that the DCO project allows us to do is we have milestone-based payments based on those migrations happening, which alleviates some of that pressure put on the P&L, because we, as Justin said, there's an overlap as we start to exit some of the some of the contracts that we have on that physical infrastructure.
Yeah, and to add to that, the AMN funding, for example, so migration assessments and migration funding really help alleviate the customer transition point of view, right? So that helps us transition those customers. Those customers aren't expecting us to shut down our environment and move them to Azure that necessarily, right? We've had long-term conversations with them. To go back to one of the points Elliot was making before about our focus, we have a term that we call end-to-end, and Microsoft aligns very well with us on that in terms of delivering an end-to-end solution to our customers. So Azure is not new to them, but for us to say, hey, in X number of months, we're going to move you to Azure is not something that we're necessarily forecasting, and definitely I'm sure their own CFO or CEO, financial person wasn't expecting or planning to have an additional cost to do that migration. So our intent and focus, other than making it non-disruptive, is to have no financial impact to them as well to do that transition. And those programs help us achieve that.
And I was going to say, and that time frame thing as well, right? So we've got a whole bunch of engineering resources that we need to throw at this. And so Microsoft's actually offered to help us. I can't remember the name of the program. A program where there's some engineering help that we might be able to get access to as we embark on the migration, because our guys are, pretty flat chat on customer projects as it is. And then this is a project that we're trying to not charge customers additional as we actually physically do the migrations for them across to Azure.
Yeah.
Cloud Migration Factory?
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. Cloud Migration Factory. That's it.
Yeah. And I'll just say kudos to you, because I think you all have done an incredible job, working with us to essentially kind of leverage the different programs that we have at the right time of the journey, right? And kind of knowing hey, how do some of your team plug in, but then leverage the Cloud Migration Factory to maybe go faster or scale a bit, leveraging investments to make sure that this is kind of zero cost to the end customer, and then really kind of get to that end stage, where you can start to help, ensure your customers are benefiting from kind of the new capabilities that you have to be in a public cloud to get, right? Versus just kind of a data center environment. As you think about kind of that next stage, how do you think about, we kind of touched on some of the business challenges, but if you think of technical, maybe with like a focus on sort of data security or compliance, how do you think about that both in kind of the hybrid cloud and in Azure from a go forward standpoint? How are you looking to maybe enable that further with customers or offer them new capabilities in Azure? Would love your thoughts there.
So one of them is we do have a standardized deployment model, and part of becoming the Azure specialist partner, we've had to go through some sort of rigorous checks from Microsoft and pass Microsoft standards. So we meet those standards, and obviously we always try to exceed our standards. So we have a standardized landing zone deployment for customers in terms of how we want to architect the tenancy for the customer on Azure. We also have invested in ongoing management tools around Azure, which actually provide compliance reporting back to our customers on the standardization and, are we meeting best practice for their environment? And like I previously mentioned, we have a bunch of cybersecurity services for our customers. So for those, smaller customers, I hate to use that term smaller, but I've said it, it's out there. We have like a virtual CISO for those customers to bring ongoing advisory around their security landscape and their infrastructure. We work with customers that have a mature team internally around security, but we have that capability. Our SOC and SIEM service, Defender with Microsoft, using Microsoft Sentinel as a SIEM platform with our security operations center. We have a very holistic approach around cybersecurity across all the platforms that we provide to our customers.
Yeah, on top of that, I'd add to that we're certainly across Microsoft Purview and delivering Microsoft Purview around data governance, risk compliance for Fabric deployments, that sort of stuff. In fact, I got a conversation with a customer at 10 o'clock about that. And we're also delivering Purview around the M365 stack as well, right? So sort of right across the board. We kind of don't think about it simply from an Azure perspective. We think about how we deliver, governance, risk compliance, identity access management, all that sort of stuff to deliver end-to-end, Justin talked about end-to-end security and compliance governance to customers. our Microsoft technical specialist Phil talks about, that just turning on Copilot, people get access to information that they didn't know was possible. So, having those guardrails in place for customers is really important, right? Phil tells a story of a school, and all of the kids got access to the teachers' salaries immediately, right? So it's really important, from a M365 perspective. And obviously from a, back-end data from a Fabric perspective as well, making sure that, the right people have access to information and people that don't have access to it, et cetera, right? We also deal with a lot of financial services companies. And so, there's various regulations in Australia that we need to adhere to. We're also an ISO 27001 provider. So, we're pretty comprehensive in the not just traditional security, but also that governance risk compliance we're able to deliver to customers.
Just one last point on that. There is another baby of Elliot is the data readiness assessment that we have for customers, which is focused around how to make, obviously data ready for these different platforms as, AI evolves, machine learning, et cetera, but then also around, data layout, data security, those components.
Yeah, metadata management, all that sort of stuff. It's interesting. We actually commissioned some research late last year, and one of the things we found in the Australian market, I'm not sure how analogous it is to the global or the American market, but in the Australian market, over 70% of businesses aren't ready for AI. And the reason that they aren't ready for AI is effectively that they don't have their data foundations in place. So like Justin talked about, and so, being able to have that readiness for AI is really important for businesses. The way that I see it is that as large language models effectively are all of the information in the world going into a single spot, that what is the differentiator for any of our customers' businesses? It's actually the data that they have that other people don't. And so being able to leverage that data, right, to be able to deliver great insights for our customers' is actually a point of differentiation. And so it's really important to help our customers with those data foundations so that they can start to leverage AI use cases, which we're already helping our customers a lot with.
That's a great reflection. And y'all are ready, because I was going to get into probably the hardest part of the conversation, which is starting to look into the future, right? Because just a little bit nervous in the beginning with, podcasting. Well, the tough part is when you don't talk about stories that have happened, but the ones that haven't happened yet, right? But you're already offering your perspectives on AI readiness and all that. That's where we were heading, because I guess if you talk to 100 prospects or 100 customers, there's 100 different reasons for doing or not doing AI, or staying in the hybrid cloud, or staying on-prem, or doing the cloud. So just in general, what is you guys' perspective on, not only where AI is going to take us, but particularly for hybrid cloud partners?
Yeah, I think the point I made around the businesses not being ready. So firstly, everybody's talking about it, right? It's a boardroom conversation, not a technology conversation, but it's really hard to execute. It's really easy in our personal lives to use ChatGPT or, Llama or, some model and type in a bunch of data and get a bunch of data out. It's a much harder thing to be able to go into a customer's business and change a bunch of business processes to get a significant benefit. And so, we're looking at ways that we can help businesses to change those business processes and to leverage AI where they can. And so getting those data foundations in place is important, but also identifying what are the use cases where significant benefit can be found. And the answer is it's not every area, because effectively AI gives you a probabilistic answer rather than a deterministic answer. And so there's certain things that you need you probably want your bill rather than somebody else's bill, right? But there are lots of things in the business that we can use agents for to be able to deliver. We've already started to do that in our customer service area and helping customers in their customer service areas. And we're starting to see in that operations area of businesses, whether it be finance, legal, operations, where we're actually able to start to deliver meaningful return on investment by delivering use cases in those areas. I think there's a lot still to be unlocked, but the real true value is in those, deep, embedded in the bowels of people's businesses where, there's lots of cost and lots of, what would I call it? More like embedded frustration in processes, which can be unlocked. And then the final thing I'll say is that there's also a change management lens. One of the things that's hardest about AI and leveraging it in people's businesses is that the way people use technology needs to change. And us as technologists, we're like, great, let's leverage it. But for an accountant who doesn't have a background in technology, they're like, what is this? Is it taking my job? This is really scary. And so actually defining use cases and then working with a business to be able to help execute that change is one of the most important things.
Yeah, and I think it's just the beginning. It's super exciting in terms of what we're starting to achieve. I can talk a little bit about what we're doing in our business, for example. So we want to increase our speed to market, how fast we respond to customers, how quickly we get proposals out to them that are, really to the point, provide them the right information. So how do we automate our responses back to our customers from a Q&A point of view when we do RFPs, tenders, those sort of things, where we're using AI across a whole database of information that we have from previous responses to customers, and the ability to reduce the effort per proposal / tender response / when a customer gives you 500 questions, how does these services work? Being able to give them really sharp responses quickly and not have someone, searching through a database manually, typing out answers, etc. is super powerful.
We don't want our expensive engineering resources spending all day formatting documents and trying to find from a particular document something that they wrote 12 months ago, etc. We actually had a response that we did for a customer. We've been trialing a bunch of tools, and one of the responses that we did, it provided 83% of all of the response based on our previous catalog of responses, and the quality of the response when we read it was actually higher. And so we're actually able to reduce the time by 500%, and increase the quality at the same time, right? So that's amazing, and the best is yet to come, really.
Yeah. So what are we trying to achieve is that speed to market, right? How fast can we get into market? And we want to achieve those for customers. So there's another example around a university, and they want to help their students work out what their career paths are and what courses and et cetera they should be on. So we've actually worked with them around agents that actually give advice to their students around, not only what courses they should be on, but it actually helps them work out their career path in terms of, these are your future job prospects. This is actually your future earning. This is how long we think that industry is going to be around and that type of job role is. This is how your job could evolve over those periods. And that, giving advice to thousands of students on tap at any point in time without having, trying to be people booking an appointment with some career advisor or, do searches on the internet and try to guess their way through what their future prospects are. Again, it's really about speed. Like the ability to increase our speed and efficiency is just so powerful. And that should result in, business growth for us, or, the ability for a university to service their students or improve their happiness, or, their future prospects as a student when they get into the workforce.
It's a really interesting point, Justin. In fact, my eldest son is in year 12 at high school, so that's the last year before university in Australia. And he literally was telling me that he was looking at this specific university the other day. I actually think he probably used a tool that Nexon developed, and I didn't even think about it.
Adam, can we send your son there too?
Yeah, hey, it's a little farther than he's currently comfortable with. We'll see.
That's a great lifestyle.
That's
over
incredible.
Here. That's a great lifestyle over here.
We can hook our kids up at them.
There you go. That sounds good. I love it. Yeah, it's super exciting to hear you kind of share both kind of where you've been and where you're going, and super impressed as well to hear all the different ways, you're really enabling customers with AI and kind of, future cloud capabilities, or I should say cutting edge capabilities, really, right? I mean, the fact that you're leveraging kind of the full capability of agents both internally and with your customers, and kind of really helping yourselves transform as a way to further enable your customer transformation is just incredible as well. So I really want to thank you, and just super appreciative that you kind of like shared a little bit about your journey with us, where you're headed, and also the overall partnership. It's been great, getting to work with you and learn about your business, and really the impact that you just make on so many customers and so many companies. So super appreciative for that. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, same back. It's been great working with you, Adam. That's a more recent thing for us, but like I said, we've been a partner with Microsoft for a very long time. I'm pretty sure it's the whole 25 years to be direct. And
our most valuable partner to us and to our customers, for sure.
And that's exactly the right mix that we want. We've heard from our listeners; they love hearing from a partner that has been with Microsoft a long time ago and has done this cloud thing for quite a little bit. But also, we interview other partners that just did that data center migration 6 months ago, and we're getting that initial reaction and also that perception of not doing it when the cloud was booming, but now when AI is booming. So for our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Remain subscribed, because we got more stories from other regions of the world that might inspire you, and you might learn something new along the way. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Stay tuned for more insights and stories from Microsoft's data center optimization team. Be sure to stay connected at dco.microsoft.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.